When I think of container gardening, I'm picturing raised beds, not open to the ground below, and pots. This could be super awesome for people who are really limited on the amount of space they have to grow. I, on the other hand, I have a little too much going on back here, so container gardening doesn't work for me. The main reason is that it requires a lot of time to water. Plants in containers are really limited on the amount of water that they can store, especially later on in the season, because their root ball is just so big. They're taking up so much water so much quicker. Whereas plants that are left in the ground are able to store water in a more efficient way. And while we're on the topic of water, it's super important that your container gardens have some sort of drainage. Water needs to be able to drain to the ground below. Otherwise, you can end up with root rot and your plants end up looking like they're almost burnt. To avoid this, just make sure that there's some type of hole in the bottom of your container or raised bed. I strongly recommend not lining your raised beds with landscaping fabric. This fabric does not breathe and it will not allow any water to escape. If your container is already lined with a non-breathable fabric, or you want to protect the interior of that container, that's fine. Just make sure that you put some kind of drainage through the bottom of that, so rip holes or drill holes. Now, this is the extent of my container gardening. I have 2 bonsai tomato plants. And the reason I have them in pots is because they're actually able to grow in a smaller area. So that's something that you can look for as well. I also like to grow basil in pots and also some varieties of small peppers. So my take home from this is, number 1, be prepared to water a lot and often. Number 2, ensure that you have proper drainage in the bottoms of your containers. And number 3, choose plant varieties that would fare well in a smaller container.